San Francisco in the 1800s was one of the most explosive cities on Earth. In the year 1847, fewer than 500 people lived here. Within 5 years, the population had surged past 150,000. It was a city that did not slowly grow, it erupted. Fueled by gold, by ambition, and by the desperate hope of men who had sailed halfway around the world to find their fortune. In this video, I use modern AI tools to bring historic paintings, engravings, and prints to life, allowing us to shift perspective, change camera angles, and move through the same scenes in ways their original artists never could. What you're seeing is not fantasy. It's reconstruction. A careful attempt to see the city as it actually was. This view shows a quiet crescent of water cupped between low, sandy hills. This was Yerba Buena, the tiny settlement that would become San Francisco. In 1846, it held perhaps 500 souls. The hills were bare. The streets were little more than tracks through sand. You could walk from one end of the settlement to the other in 10 minutes. On July 9th of that year, Commander John B. Montgomery landed his crew from the USS Portsmouth onto these shores and raised the American flag at the main plaza. That single act changed the course of the entire Pacific coast. The cove itself was calm and gray-green, sheltered from the open Pacific. Small trading vessels sat at anchor. Gulls wheeled overhead. The air smelled of salt and kelp and wood smoke from cooking fires near the shore. Nobody here yet knew what was about to arrive. Within 3 years, the same quiet cove would become one of the most chaotic waterfronts in the history of the Western world. This view shows a broad, open plaza surrounded by low wooden buildings. Portsmouth Square was the beating heart of early San Francisco. Named for the ship that claimed this land for the United States, it was the first public gathering place in the city, a patch of open ground where everything happened at once. By 1848, the plaza was ringed with saloons, gambling houses, hotels, and merchant stalls. The ground underfoot was rutted and muddy in the rainy season, thick with dust in the summer. Men in canvas trousers and battered hats clustered at every corner, trading rumors and debts in equal measure. On January 24, 1848, gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill in the foothills, and within weeks, the news had reached Portsmouth Square. Contemporary accounts describe men dropping their tools mid-sentence and simply walking away. Merchants closed their shops. Sailors abandoned their ships in the harbor. The square emptied almost overnight. Then it filled back up, louder than before, with 49ers pouring in from every direction. This square saw elections, riots, and public executions. It saw the proclamation of California statehood in 1850. It was, in every sense, the stage on which this young city performed itself. Remarkably, Portsmouth Square still exists today in the heart of San Francisco's Chinatown, a small park that has watched more history pass through it than almost any other piece of ground in the American West. This view shows Yerba Buena Cove from the hillside, and the sight is astonishing. By 1851, over 800 ships lay abandoned in the harbor. Their masts rose from the water in a dense, tangled forest. Contemporary observers called it exactly that, a forest of masts. Ships from Chile, from China, from England, from New York, clipper ships, merchant brigs, and passenger steamers, all left to rot. Their crews had deserted for the goldfields. The ships themselves were dragged ashore, converted into warehouses, hotels, and saloons. One vessel, the Niantic, became a dry goods store. Another became a prison. This was not a port in the normal sense. It was a graveyard and a marketplace at the same time. The smell was extraordinary, tar and bilgewater and rotting timber, overlaid with the smoke of 1,000 cookfires on shore. The cove was eventually filled in with sand and debris. The city simply built over the top of it. Today, the streets of downtown San Francisco rest on top of those buried ships, and construction crews still occasionally dig one up. If there's another city, another moment, another vanished street you'd like to see brought back to life, let me know in the comments below. I read every one of them. Again, thank you so much.